What would you choose for your very last meal? Hold that thought, because after hearing these 35 absolutely mind-boggling requests, you might want to reconsider your answer. Welcome back to Vintage Memoriam, where today we're diving into the strange, touching, and downright bizarre world of death row dining. Before we jump in, here's something you might not know. In most U.S. states, that famous last meal isn't actually served right before execution. It's typically delivered a day or two earlier under the rather clinical term special meal. And while various restrictions are in place over what can be requested, some of the meals that have been approved are so unusual they deserve their own spotlight. Alcohol and tobacco are usually, but not always, denied. Unorthodox or unavailable requests can be replaced with similar substitutes. But even with these limitations, the creativity and sometimes sheer audacity of these final food choices will amaze you. So buckle up. We're counting down 35 last meal requests that range from heartbreaking to hilarious and everything in between. Number 35, David Leon Woods, the birthday boy. Our list kicks off with a request that's equal parts sweet and tragic. Woods asked for a birthday cake, not because it was his birthday, but perhaps because he wanted one final celebration. Sometimes the simplest requests hit the hardest, reminding us that even in our darkest moments, we still crave joy. Number 34, Andrew Lackey, the questionable combo king. In 2013, Lackey made culinary history with this head-scratching combination: turkey bologna, French fries, and grilled cheese. Now, I'm no food critic, but turkey bologna with grilled cheese? That's a choice. Fun fact, Lackey was Alabama's first execution since 2011. Way to break the streak, Andrew. Number 33, Ajmal Kasab, the tomato mystery. Here's where things get interesting. Kasab, executed in India for his role in the 2008 Mumbai attacks, actually declined a last meal, but the prison wasn't having it. They gave him a basket of tomatoes anyway. Was it mercy or torture? We may never know his feelings about tomatoes, but it certainly adds an element of dark humor to an otherwise grim situation. Number 32, Alton Coleman, the steak destroyer. Coleman's meal started innocently. Fried chicken, salad, sweet potato pie, the works. But then came the culinary crime of the century. A well-done filet mignon smothered in mushrooms. Somewhere, a chef is still crying. This man committed crimes against both humanity and perfectly good beef. Number 31, Christopher Brooks, the minimalist. Sometimes less is more. Brooks kept it simple. 2 peanut butter cups and a Dr. Pepper. Honestly, that sounds like a pretty solid Tuesday afternoon to me. There's something refreshingly honest about this choice. No pretense, just simple comfort food. Number 30, Adolf Eichmann, the wine connoisseur. One of the Holocaust's key architects declined a special meal, requesting only Carmel red wine, a popular Israeli brand, alongside regular prison food. He drank half the bottle, presumably trying to numb himself before facing justice. Even monsters seek comfort in their final hours. Number 29, Roger Casement, the spiritual seeker. After converting to Catholicism before his execution, Casement requested only a communion wafer, stating he wanted to go to my death with the body of my God as my last meal. Heavy stuff. The profound spirituality in this request shows how people turn to faith when facing the ultimate judgment. Number 28, Liddell Lee, the recent convert. Our most recent case from 2017, Lee also chose Holy Communion as his final meal. There's something profoundly human about seeking spiritual comfort in those final moments. It makes you wonder what truly matters when everything else is stripped away. Number 27, Timothy McVeigh, the ice cream enthusiast. The Oklahoma City bomber, responsible for 168 deaths, went out with 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream, which he ate alone in his windowless cell the night before his execution. That's a lot of ice cream for one sitting. Maybe he was hoping brain freeze would kick in first. The lonely image of him eating ice cream in isolation is somehow both pathetic and chilling. Number 26, Robert Dale Conklin, the fine dining fanatic. If you're going out, why not do it in style? Conklin ordered a feast fit for a 5-star restaurant. Filet mignon wrapped in bacon, garlic butter shrimp, the works. The man had taste in food, if not in life choices. He murdered someone with a screwdriver to the ear. Yikes. At least he knew good cuisine when he ordered it. Number 25, Thomas J. Grasso, the complaint department. Grasso ordered enough food for a small army, but here's the kicker. He publicly complained that they gave him regular spaghetti instead of SpaghettiOs. The audacity. Imagine being on death row and still leaving Yelp reviews. 1 star. They messed up my final meal order. Would not recommend this prison. Number 24, John Wayne Gacy, the clown's final act. The serial killer who terrorized Chicago while dressed as a clown ordered fried shrimp, a bucket of KFC, fries, and, wait for it, a full pound of strawberries. Because nothing says balanced meal like a pound of fruit after fried chicken. Even in death, Gacy maintained his twisted sense of performance art. Number 23, Stephen Woods. The human garbage disposal. Woods treated his last meal like an all-you-can-eat buffet. 2 pounds of bacon, a large pizza, 4 fried chicken breasts, multiple beverages, ice cream, steaks, hamburgers. The man was clearly trying to eat his feelings. Or maybe he was hoping to die of a heart attack before they could execute him. Number 22. Peter Curtin, the Taco Bell dream. 20 beef tacos, 20 enchiladas, double cheeseburgers, jalapeno pizza, and enough ice cream to stock a Dairy Queen. This isn't a last meal. It's a small restaurant's daily inventory. The logistics alone must have been nightmare for the prison kitchen staff. Number 21. Ricky Ray Rector, the optimist. Rector's meal seemed normal until the end. He saved his slice of pecan pie for later. The heartbreaking optimism in that gesture speaks volumes about the human condition and the mind's refusal to accept finality. Sometimes denial is the only comfort we have left. 20. Troy Davis, the prophetic statement. Davis, whose guilt was heavily disputed, refused a last meal, saying it wouldn't be his last. The ominous confidence in that statement still gives me chills. Whether it was faith, defiance, or certainty in his innocence, the power of those words lingers long after his execution. Number 19. Stephen Anderson, the radish enthusiast. Anderson's meal was going fine until the grand finale. Lots and lots of radishes. I mean, we all have our quirks, but radishes as your final earthly pleasure? Bold choice, Stephen. Maybe he really loved the crunch, or maybe he was making some kind of statement we'll never understand. Number 18. Gary Simmons Jr., the pizza perfectionist. This man didn't just order pizza, he engineered it. Double everything on one, specific toppings on another, plus enough ranch dressing to drown in. Amazingly, he finished half of it. That's either impressive or concerning. The dedication to pizza customization is almost admirable. Number 17. Ronnie Lee Gardner, the bibliophile. Gardner's meal was normal, steak, lobster, pie. But his additional request was pure genius. The entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. The warden actually let him finish all 3 movies. Now that's customer service. Imagine spending your final 12 hours with Frodo and Gandalf. Not the worst way to go out. Number 16. Victor Fager, the minimalist poet. A single olive with the pit still in. That's it. After his execution, examiners found the pit in his suit pocket, and some say Fager hoped he'd be buried with the pit so an olive tree, a symbol of peace, would grow from his grave. There's something almost beautiful about that symbolism, trying to create life and peace even in death. Number 15. Odell Barnes, the idealist. Instead of food, Barnes requested justice, equality, and world peace. A murderer asking for world peace? The irony is thick, but you've got to appreciate the ambition. At least he was thinking big picture, even if his own actions contradicted his final wishes. Number 14. Lawrence Brewer, the ultimate troll. Brewer ordered what might be the largest meal in death row history. We're talking multiple steaks, pizzas, fajitas, the works. Then he didn't eat a single bite, claiming he wasn't hungry. This stunt was so outrageous that Texas completely abolished the last meal program in 2011. Thanks a lot, Lawrence. Your pettiness ruined it for everyone. Number 13. Aileen Wuornos, the coffee lover. Serial killer. Wuornos kept it simple, just a cup of coffee. Though, to be fair, she'd already hit up the prison canteen for a burger earlier. Sometimes you just need that caffeine hit. In her last statement, she said, "Yes, I would just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock and I'll be back, like Independence Day, with Jesus." Cryptic to the end. Number 12. Philip Workman, the pay-it-forward pioneer. Instead of a meal for himself, Workman requested that the prison donate a large vegetarian pizza to a homeless person in Nashville. The prison refused, but the request inspired hundreds of people to deliver pizzas to homeless shelters on the day of his execution. Even in death, he managed to do something beautiful and meaningful. Number 11. James Edward Smith, the dirt connoisseur. And here's our most baffling entry. The man who requested a lump of dirt, just dirt. The prison said absolutely not and gave him yogurt instead. We'll never know if he preferred the yogurt, but honestly, this request raises so many questions we don't have answers for. Was it symbolic? Practical? We may never know. Number 10. Ted Bundy, the non-chooser. America's most infamous serial killer didn't make a special request, so he received the standard death row meal. Steak cooked medium rare, eggs over easy, hash browns, toast with butter and jelly, milk, and juice. He wasn't hungry, though. Bundy barely touched his final meal. Maybe even he couldn't stomach what was coming next. Number 9. Velma Barfield, the snack attack. Velma Barfield was the first woman to be executed in the United States after the death penalty was reinstated in 1976. She requested a simple meal of cheese doodles and a can of Coca-Cola. Sometimes comfort comes in the form of childhood snacks. There's something both sad and relatable about wanting your favorite junk food when facing the end. Number 8. Teresa Lewis, the seafood lover. For her last meal, Teresa Lewis requested fried chicken, sweet peas, a Dr. Pepper, and a slice of German chocolate cake. Actually, that sounds like a perfect Southern comfort meal. Lewis was executed in Virginia, and her choices reflect that regional comfort food tradition perfectly. Number 7. Gerald Gallego, the Candy Man. Gallego, part of a serial-killing duo with his wife, requested something unexpected, a bag of assorted jelly beans. That's it, just candy. There's something childlike about this request that's both innocent and deeply unsettling given his crimes. Maybe he was trying to recapture some lost innocence. Number 6. Bruno Hauptmann, the bread and water man. The man convicted of kidnapping the Lindbergh baby, though his guilt remains disputed, made a surprisingly humble request. Just bread, butter, olives, cherries, and celery. Simple, almost monastic in its restraint. Perhaps he was making a statement about his claimed innocence with such a pure, simple meal. Number 5. Gary Gilmore, the fast food pioneer. Gilmore, the first person executed after the death penalty was reinstated, kept it simple with hamburgers, eggs, potatoes, and coffee. His execution was so significant that it inspired books, movies, and songs. Sometimes the most ordinary meals accompany the most extraordinary moments in history. Number 4. Carla Faye Tucker, the peach lover. Tucker, who became a born-again Christian on death row, requested a simple meal of bananas, peaches, and a garden salad. The fruit choices seem almost biblical. Perhaps she was trying to return to Eden in her final moments. Her case sparked international debate about redemption and the death penalty. Number 3. Danny Rolling, the shrimp enthusiast. The Gainesville Ripper, who terrorized Florida, requested lobster tail, butterfly shrimp, baked potato, strawberry cheesecake, and sweet tea. Even serial killers appreciate a good surf and turf dinner. Rolling's choices were surprisingly elegant for someone who committed such brutal crimes. Number 2. Carl Panzram, the hunger striker. Panzram, one of America's most notorious criminals, refused a last meal entirely. He was quoted as saying he wanted to go out the same way he lived, with nothing. His defiance extended to his final moments, maintaining his angry, unrepentant attitude right to the end. Number 1. Charles Brooks, Jr., the historic choice. Brooks made history as the first person executed by lethal injection in 1982, and his last meal was equally memorable. T-bone steak, French fries, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, rolls, peach cobbler, and iced tea. It was a meal that bridged the old and new eras of capital punishment, traditional comfort food for a revolutionary execution method.